we were not able to trade the USDJPY. Yes, some technical issues on my control, but let's quickly run through what our expectations, my expectation was, and how I have trading the Y. Now, the first thing we are going to be doing here is go up into the daily time frame, and let's have an holistic view of what is really been happening throughout the course of last year's trading. Now, right on the daily time frame here, it is obvious that price action has been on a long-term bullish momentum, at least since the beginning of one. We have been with pressure, we have been finding higher lows here, and we were able to connect the series of higher lows here to give us that bullish trend line you can on your screen right here. So in fact, we have a couple of trend line here. So the major one is on here. The dash line on your screen right now is the major line. Then we also have this other trend line here, which has also been a major determinant of price action. And since the breakout retest of the structure here in the month of March last year, price action trade above that structure emphasized the strength of the buyers at the point. Now, in addition to line is very important history level at the 131.00 level. And why is the level so important? Well, if you look into the past year and see how price action acting around the structure, you will see that it really has been a determinant of price action. Look at what happened here in the month of May last year. Level was holding selling pressure at that particular point in time before we witnessed a breakout of that structure in the month of June. And since the breakout happened in the month of June, price has continued to find buy pressure right above that structure to emphasize the strength of the buyers at the point. As you can see, happen here in August 8th. Then we saw the same thing happen here third week of the month of December, that was last month, and price towards the end of last year, price right above the 131, the 131.0 level for the M structure. And one thing I stated, 131 level shall be our guide for activity week and at the same year. And how do we want to be trading this? If you look at the structure here, you will notice that this level has been strong buying niche for participants in the, and as a result of that, I was able to identify that area as a demand zone. As every time, anytime price comes within, I've been witnessing by pressure come in area. So what we are going to be out for this week is if we start seeing buy pressure right above the 131.0, might want to be joining a bullish momentum to the upside. And if price breaks down the 131.00 level, selling pressure below the structure should cite another bearish momentum, probably to that major bullish trend line we identified earlier. So in order to have a better perspective into what is really going on in the market, it's important that we scale down to a much lower time frame so that we can see what price action is transitioning into here. I mean, what our next line of action will be. So like I said, if price action forms a reversal pattern around this area, like a double bottom structure, we want to be buying. And if this turns out to be a trend continuation pattern, then we want to be looking at opportunities below the 1. So in order to have a better perspective to this, we want to be down to the time frame. And right here on the 1 hour time frame, I was able to identify time frame. Look at what we have here. Structure. Before I go into, let me what's happened on hours time. I want us to have an that week. So now on the first time frame, I was able to buy a bear line since of October last year. As you can see, our price action has come and uniformly so we all agree with the USDJ US dollar has been dropping again. So Japanese yen pair since in the last 2 months. So that was the structure I was able to identify there. And in addition to the bearish trend is the wanted, which has also been a price action. Then we have the 134.500, which demand zone at one point in time for the break. A structure happened, and then we saw a emphasize the point. Now, if we zoom in current structure here, the 131 level identified on the time frame has been pressure for some time, and at the beginning of this, saw a little breakdown of the sellers who want to hijack trading activity from the buyers. Now, when we scale down to the 1 hour time frame, what I was able to identify of the year. So since the beginning of the year, I was able to identify a flat candle, 131.0 level here. As you can, we saw that is the resistance channel. Anytime price comes into the resistance, have been with pressure from that level. And we also have the support level of the channel here around this level. And what happened early hours of there was a breakdown of that structure, emphasized the strength of the seller point. So we saw the breakdown of the yeah, and I was able to take advantage of bearish move, fetched me about how many pips? About 100 pips out before I started. And with the new pivot lows here, find higher low, I connected trend line. I will be calling a temporary bullish trend line time. And one thing around this level is that when I started seeing this higher loads, it feel that buyers are likely coming in point, and probably this how to be no yet. But one thing for sure that we will be doing is activity. And during the New York session, or during the early hours of today, we saw the break line, retest of the line to an opportunity was the JPY. And in fact, we joined right below the 130 points. And currently, it's not that much anyway. Currently, price is running with up. So for those who are taking advantage of this right here, thank you for being on standby to come. So let's continue to our price action react to the structure at this point. And remember, we have a macroeconomic event coming up today, and this evidence, as you can see here, we have been with consolidation on here. So it emphasizes the fact that funds in those markets are still, as we don't know, a price will go in from this point. And for those who had missed out on the opportunity, here I will be speaking, and let's wait out for another structure to evolve in add more trade. And so I will be looking at some 130 here where it will be most appropriate to add more position price break structures. For the sake of clarity, I would like to, sorry, I would like to label this point so that we can see things more clearly and use it as a reference point whenever we are about to take a decision on the why. So have right, okay, right, okay. So you can see here we had a new pivot low here, and price is yet to break below the structure. So I will be advised wait out for a breakdown rate 30.200. So if you had missed out on the sell opportunity here, let's wait out for a breakdown retest of the 130.200 order to join this decline to the downside. So we are looking forward to something like this, join that bearish moment to the downside. So on the USDJPY, we continue to wait out for selling opportunity. Yeah, so below the 130.200 seems most appropriate to take advantage of a sell position on the USDJPY. Now, in as much as we are looking forward to sell opportunities on the USDJPY, and we need to take it and leave the option I open as well as it price continues upside, how do we want to be taking advantage of that buy opportunity? And we should also not ignore these pivot lows here. This bullish pressure here in the last 24 hours. We also saw another one here hours of today. So this might likely incite a bullish. So what I will be looking for an outright breakout of the 131 Japanese, but how that level and zone which we identified on the higher time frame. That level has been holding by pressure for time before it was here. And if breakout of that structure happen, I want to that as a time for join a upside. So as long as price um out for second price breaks out of the wanted 0 level, we look out for buy opportunity. Now, if you look closely at following this impulsive move downside, we have something that looks like a reversal pattern. It looks like a down that happened. So, like I said, we wait out for breakout of the one was a confirmation that buyers have come to stay in this market. But as long as price remains 0.6 out for selling opportunity. Yeah. And like I said, for those who had missed out on this opportunity, let's remain and wait out for a breakdown retest of the 130.200 during that decline to the downside. All right. Thank you, Steamroller, for that. I'll move closer to my mic. Thank you. All right. So that is the view we have here on the USDJPY. If you have any questions, feel free to drop your inquiries in the comment section as usual.